I would like to pass. Hi. I would like to pass my mic to you guys, and please shortly introduce yourself, like what you're working on right now, what is your background, experience. Please, Kriss.
Sure. So hi everybody. My name's Kriss Baird. I'm General Manager at Project Catalyst, which is Cardano's innovation engine. It's the largest decentralized innovation engine in the world, and I would argue that it's crypto's best kept secret still. We've been running this for the last 5 years, and what it basically means is anyone in the Cardano community, so as long as you hold ADA, you can request funding from Catalyst to build your great idea. So we funded over $150 million worth of projects over the last 5 years. That amounts to nearly 2,100 projects that has effectively built up the startup ecosystem in the whole of Cardano. And yeah, my background is very much all around innovation. I'm a decentralization maxi, and I'm looking forward to getting into this.
All right, I'm Kizana. I'm the CEO of Tokocrypto Indonesia, one of the largest exchanges in Indonesia, the most compliant and the most cool exchange in Indonesia. Prior to that, I was the country director for WhatsApp in Indonesia, so I know everyone's what's talking about, so I can sneak messages. No, just kidding. Prior to that, I was working with Gojek as the COO to run their entertainment company called GoPlay. And prior to that, I was building 7 startups, 5 fails, 2 success, exit, and enjoying my life. Thank you.
What an amazing lineup of speakers we have today. So everyone in the industry is waiting for so-called mass adoption, when the retail liquidity will flow in, Bitcoin will go up to millions, we will start using banks less. Oh, I see our third panelist, by the way. Amazing. So everyone will start using banks less, there will be ease of regulatory pressure, but the situation is actually turning absurd, vice versa. So how can we talk about mass adoption if the simplest onboarding user funnel is nowhere to be found, even not on the website of the projects? So I would like to start my question with the first question, more generic one. What does easy to use in Web3 mean personally to you guys, and what metrics do you think we need to pay attention to when we evaluate if the project is for a wider audience? So what is your takeaway?
That's an interesting question, certainly on the metrics side. I mean, certainly, in order to really get mass adoption, I think there's a couple of things that we need to be considerate of, right? User experience needs to be paramount. It needs to be, you need to be onboarded within half a dozen clicks, really. If it's any more than that, it's going to take you longer than like a minute to get on board. You're probably not going to come back to that service too quickly. But I think, beyond just the idea of user experience and how we actually get into using an app, it's about, why are we using the application? What is the utility of the thing that we're actually participating in and interacting with? And, I don't think the broad world, the population of the world, the majority of them, I don't think are going to be traders. I don't think they're going to be degens. I don't think they care so much about NFTs and memes as much as we all do, right? Like, this is why we're here. So we need to give people purpose and reason to use blockchain. In the same way that, we use a multitude of apps on our phones every single day. We don't need to know how they work, why they work. We just need to know that they provide us utility and usefulness in our daily lives.
But shortly speaking, what are like the 2 metrics that we need to pay attention to? It could be like time to value, like up to 60 seconds, or no, or seedless onboarding, or no use of seed phrase, anything like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably some sort of blend of dwell time and how often people are coming back to using these applications. And then, how easy is the process to actually get on board and not need to worry about your private keys so much anymore?
Okay, makes sense. What about you, Calvin?
The last time was when I tried staking some ETH on MetaMask to, kind of like staking platform. And I had to connect my wallet, approve like 2, 3 different contracts, and it sounds so complicated, right? And onboarding, mostly for all these Web3 tools, is built for crypto native. So if you compare this to the Web2 apps, it's like 2 simple click and that's done, right? So I think the simplicity is the key to onboard the users. So now you hide all the complexity behind the scene. That's what we want. Until that, change, then it will, make the whole onboarding more easier for the users. So yeah, that's.
So you think simplicity is the thing, right? Is the key
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
Well, I get such kind of impression that today in the industry, in crypto industry, we have like 2 types of people. The first type is those who are advanced users. They can easily use the benefits of DeFi. They can stake crypto, yield, stake crypto, borrow crypto. And the others are those who would prefer for their own convenience to use centralized services, solutions such as CEXs, centralized wallets, neobanks, and they would do past KYC just for their own convenience. So do you think that we need to compromise decentralization in sake of mass adoption here, just to simplify the products? So don't you see that there is kind of a ideological split that we all had to keep like decentralized thing? So what is your takeaway here?
Yeah, shall I go, Calvin? Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of really interesting points here, right? Like, when we talk about decentralization, obviously when it comes to sort of security of data and making sure that there's no sort of single point of failure, decentralization makes a lot of sense. But again, we've got to come back to what do most people care about. I don't believe that they mostly care about decentralization. They care about purpose and utility, right? And you've got to look at it. We're in an industry that is barely 10 years old. Now, for the majority of that 10 years, we've been mostly interacting with an open, public, permissionless blockchains. So I've got used to, as early adopters, interacting with our open, public truths. But then, let's just look at what we do in our daily lives. Like, how much of your daily life do you want to turn over to being open and public? Probably not a great deal, right? And then you've got all your private truths. And what we're just seeing now is the maturity of the ZK or privacy-preserving infrastructure that is going to enable all of these other utilities and all these other applications and use cases, which can make us feel comfortable about using the blockchain or using these services, because we know our data is going to be private, it's also going to be secure, and it's not going to be hacked and given away to everybody else.
Yeah, I think there are 2 types of users like that, crypto native, which I believe that what they like is slick features, all that kind of technology and everything. And there's another non-crypto users, which is a clear benefit, just like what Kriss mentioned. What they want is the utility, right? They don't want to don't give the plumbing issue for them, just give them the clean water, right? So they can enjoy what's the benefit. So I think the onboarding section and everything should be very simple and shouldn't be too much complications. Hide everything, the technical things behind it. So yeah, again, it's a simplicity to onboarding. KYC should be very easy, not too complicated. So yeah.
But also another thing, talking about the crypto terminology that we're using and just how non-crypto people communicate between each other, it feels like it feels like the products were built by developers or for hardcore crypto enthusiasts. So do you think that education might help here, or it's not the key? We just need to simplify projects and that's it?
Okay. Well, I would say that we in Web3 is too obsessed with education. I would say we love to give like 50 pages of guide on how to explain about how blockchain works, how slippage tolerance works. All that kind of jargon just to educate the people. The user, they don't need to be lectured. They just want things to, things get done. That's as simple as that. So I think to build the product, again, simplicity is the key. until we can hide all the complexity behind all this tech jargon, then the best product to deliver is something that people can understand. Even my grandma can use it. That will be a very good product. Take a look like Web2 application. You want to top up, let's say, GoPay or OVO, just 2 clicks and send. That's it, simple. No one will ask you like the slippage tolerance or maybe what kind of network they're gonna use to send you money. Nobody gonna ask that. All the complexity behind it, right? So I think if we can build an apps in Web3 products, is that simple, then education become optional.
Well, Tokocrypto is the leading Indonesian exchange, and I think it's quite easier for you guys to onboard wider audience than for Web3 DeFi project. And Catalyst, for example, is like a project that is much more complicated for a wider audience, right? So how do you? No, you don't. So like my mother wants to vote for a project within your ecosystem. Yeah. What kind of action does she need to do?
Yeah, I mean, all she needs to do is create a Catalyst ID, which is nothing more than quite literally half a dozen clicks. And then she can start voting on your project that you're going to submit a proposal for, right? I mean, this is the thing. What we've been able to demonstrate within Cardano, at the very least, and we are multi-chain now, is that people actually enjoy participating and taking an active role in helping to shape the ecosystem and the world around them, right? I mean, look at it. There's so many problems in the world that need fixing, and we don't play enough of a role in helping to make the decisions on how to solve them. But we've got the ways and means in our hands, and blockchain is a really great application or voting is a great application for blockchain, because you don't need to question whether or not the voting system works or not, like we've seen in many governments. You just know that the blockchain works and it's trusted and trustless, and anyone can participate, right?
Do you consider your project 2.5, Web 2.5 project?
Yeah, I think it's about, well, that's a really interesting thing. I wouldn't say Catalyst is necessarily 2.5, but who we're now attracting to come and submit proposals and start building real-world use cases, they're that blend of 2.5, right? It's those enterprises and real-world industry that is now beginning to sort of dip their toes into the world of Cardano, and they've done it in other blockchains as well, but they're looking for solutions that are trusted, are safe, are secure, have really good uptime, that aren't going to just fall over every other month, right? So now we're seeing these massive, massive organizations like, for example, Barcelona FC, or Checkpoint, Israel's largest publicly traded company, or Suntory, for example, that are now dipping their toe back into blockchain because the infrastructure is now at a point where it's sort of mature and it works. It works well enough. So to your point originally about education, we need to be tapping into these amplifiers. It's these industry leaders, these household name brands that have the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of audience reach, and they've got to make it feel like fluid water, right? They create the applications and the user experience that onboards all of their customers. It doesn't need to be the layer one's job to have to, or even the DeFi dApps job to bring everybody else on.
Yeah, that makes sense. And could you tell us about like 2 most successful projects that Catalyst had helped to raise money for, and where you successfully attracted a wider audience?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, where Catalyst's sweet spot is really early stage innovators, right? It's proof of concept, MVP, real world demonstrators. We're now seeing, as I said, organisations like Barcelona FC, one of the largest football teams on the planet, that are now funded through a community vote to then create fan engagement and loyalty technology solutions that they're going to just roll out to their tens and or hundreds of millions of fans. I mean, on the other side, we can say that Catalyst has been responsible for creating almost 90% of the DeFi and TVL that's on Cardano today. Without Catalyst, these funds and these resources weren't available, and this has now spun up the potential unicorns of the future. To actually sort of touch on your point, what are some of the best use cases? Well, I think it's about the impact, right? My favourite use case is a company and an organisation called Empower that are enabling fractionalised, crowdsourced funding and ownership of houses and housing estates in sub-Saharan Africa. That's awesome, right? Where you can get loads of people putting in resources, fractionally owning houses, and then creating, environments and habitats for people that don't necessarily have access to all of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and now I would like to touch the topic of Indonesia, since we are in Bali, and the majority of the audience is local. So, and you guys are doing a really amazing job here in terms of mass adoption, I think. So, how do you see crypto? What role do you see crypto is playing in everyday life of Indonesians?
You mean like how we get users to use our platform?
No. How do you feel like crypto? What role is crypto playing in everyday life of Indonesians? So what is the use case? How do they use it?
Tokocrypto.
We can talk about Tokocrypto.
Well, I mean, the use case in Indonesia of payment is something that we can't do that right now, right? So most of the people use crypto here in Indonesia still for investing as part of of the stocks and all that. So they're actually using crypto, and we introduce them. And we do a lot of education in Tokocrypto for all the users in Indonesia, from the cities, tier 1, tier 2. We actively educate them on introducing how crypto works and what is the best investment that you can do, what's the best yield you can have in crypto. So I think this is something that we have been actively working for the past few years, educating people. That's why we got so many users coming to our platform, because at the moment there's a lot of people, they don't really understand what crypto is, and they can fall into a lot of scam activities as well. So that's something that we're also helping the government to really educating them that you need to understand what is crypto and how to do a good investment, rather than you just FOMO in to anything that you don't even know. So education is the most basic things. And from that will be build a trust. So when there's trust there, then we as the platform just comply, then they start investing in our platform. So that's one of the use cases that we have been actively promoting educations. Yeah.
And do you think that retail mass adoption or institutional mass adoption will happen in Indonesia first?
So far it's retail, but since last year, actually institutional start onboarding as well. And I think this season, if you take a look, like last time during the bull season, it's mostly driven by retail, right? So for now, I can see that it's mostly driven by institutionals. And the good thing is that because the government already approved that companies in Indonesia can invest in crypto, it's actually an open door for us, that we chase a lot of companies to invest in crypto. And the good thing is that they are really open and they really want to learn about that. So again, education, because they don't really understand what is crypto, they just FOMO in. They say that this company is doing investment in crypto and that company is also doing the same. Then we start doing the education with them. We go to the companies, try to educate them, and this is the best, telling them this is the best, one of the best options for you to do the investment.
I guess YouTubers play a significant role here in education.
Thank you.
And Kriss, what is your takeaway on institutional versus retail mass adoption in the global sense?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can talk about it in the local context, right? Like forgive me for not knowing too much about the state of play here, but I would imagine there's probably quite a few people within this region that don't have access to maybe government services because they don't have the necessary identity credentials, right? So when you are maybe part of a very local community or a tribe or some sort of indigenous type people, right? Maybe you don't have access to the same sorts of services because you don't subscribe to that type of way of living. What we've seen in a recent indigenous community project in New Zealand was giving indigenous tribes and people the opportunity to create their own identity systems that's based on their own customs, their own rituals, their own ways about how they go about doing their daily lives. So I think decentralized digital identities is one of those other enablers that helps to give people some sort of identity that they didn't have prior. I think institutional adoption is going to help that. Regulation obviously needs to mature and become a lot more commonplace. Everybody needs to look to the West to figure that one out first before they feel comfortable in adopting it. But it's also really nice to see trailblazers like Indonesia that are trying to adopt better practices and maybe move faster than other countries in the world. Maybe it happens here quicker.
I was about to say that you guys both avoiding the topic of regulation and the role of government in mass adoption, but I think it's like super significant to mention that government plays like #1, I think, role here. And when there will be an ease of regulation, then the mass adoption will come in and the same with institutional adoption. So I guess like we need to be a bit funny today, right? So guys, I will ask you to take this tabs. You don't have it. You have it. Okay. So wrapping up the panel, I have 5 statements for you, and you vote you agree or disagree. The first one: we need to compromise decentralization.
Disagree.
Oh, nice.
All day long. Easy.
You disagree? You disagree? Both disagree. Okay, good.
Decentralization for the win.
Okay, thank God. All our parents will use DeFi in 5 years.
Say that one again.
Our parents will use DeFi in 5 years.
All parents. Oh.
Let's say 60 years old
I want to spin this one like that and be like the healthy optimist, but the realist and pragmatist at the same time, right? Maybe.
What about you, Calvin? Angry. Okay. Meme coins are secretly doing more adoption than most serious crypto projects. Meme coins, the front of mass adoption.
Today. Today.
It's a meme coin conference, right? So, cash will disappear in 15 years. I like your faces, huh?
Cash is king, isn't it? Cash is king. I mean, still need cash, yeah.
I see there's consensus here. We need to argue between each other.
I mean, you need cash so that you don't, give away all of your secrets, right?
Exactly. Most people will end up using crypto without even realizing this, like how nobody remembers the first time they used the internet.
Exactly. You do not need to know how the internet works, you just need to know that email was way better than the postal service.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, guys. It was an amazing and fun panel. And have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.